how our mRNA and our tRNA work together. And now that we know the 3 sites on the ribosome, let's work our way through translation. So the first thing to know is that the ribosome, which is made of a small subunit and a large subunit, right? The ribosome subunits bind to the mRNA, and when they do that, the AUG will be at the P site. So when the ribosome binds to our mRNA, it will connect onto it so that the AUG site or the AUG codon in our mRNA is in the P site. And so at the very start, right, the tRNA with MET arrives, so it will bind at the P, and the tRNA for the A site binds there. This is the only time where 2 tRNA arrive. This is the only time where a tRNA enters the P site. So from here on out, anytime tRNA goes to the P site, it will be clicking over from the A site, right? So when I said this is the only time tRNA enters the P site, what I mean is this is the only time tRNA will move like from the cytoplasm to the P site. From here on out, the only way tRNA gets to the P site is when it was the tRNA in the A site and our codons move forward. So this is how we start the process. The ribosome subunits bind to the mRNA. So the ribosome assembles around mRNA at the start codon. And MET is added to our polypeptide chain, which at the moment, polypeptide does not do a very good description of it because we just have a single MET now. Okay, so this is starting. From here on out, the process will be elongation. And elongation is pretty simple. All that happens is our codons move forward one codon at a time. Think of it like a click, right? We self-assemble around AUG, and then we're going to click one forward, which is this slide. AUG has clicked one forward. So the P site, MET, was processed and added to our polypeptide chain. The A site, the tRNA that's specific to the ACA codon, bonded, carrying threonine, right? So then we clicked forward, and we got AUG to the E, ACA to the P, and CAC to the A. And if that was gibberish, just look over here, right? Once we clicked forward, right, our original position was AUG, CA, or ACA, CAC, right? But then we clicked forward. And all our codons moved over 1. And now our tRNA that's empty exits. Our threonine gets added to the chain. And my next tRNA arrives at the E site, or the A site. Brain. The next tRNA arrives at the A site, right? So this is not so bad, and we're just going to click forward. So next up, we're going to click forward, and AUG will now exit the ribosome. ACA will be in the E site. CAC will be in the P site. GAU will then enter the A site. All right? And we're just going to click forward and forward and forward over and over and over again until we get to the point where everything ends. So let's advance the clock here. Right? And let's just get ourselves ready for our next biology bite. So, at this point, we'll be pretty much done. We'll have so this will be CAU, CAC, ACA, AUG. There we go. And we'll have a pretty long polypeptide being built. Let's see, it's going to be methionine, and then we've got in our CAC histidine. So we'll just look over here. It should be histidine, threonine, glutamine, histidine, threonine, methionine. Okay, so here's an empty tRNA exiting. Here's my ACA tRNA, which is going to be threonine, There we go. Here's our last tRNA in the A site. PowerPoint, you are the worst. So last tRNA in the A site, carrying that CAC. Histidine. And then we have our little connections put together. So MAT his glue. Oops. Oh, come back here and we'll just make this and we are preparing to finish this out because in our next biology bite we will learn how this whole thing stops. So elongation is literally just click, 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 click until this point. This is elongation. And the big thing about this point here is stop is the next one to click forward. And once stop enters the A site, elongation is over. And we'll talk about what happens when stop enters the A site, the next biology bite. Oh,